There is something they never taught you in school, and by design, they never will. Somewhere between the rise of the hardware store and the birth of the utility bill, a different kind of knowledge quietly disappeared. Not because it stopped working, not because something better replaced it, but because the moment people stopped paying someone for what they already knew, entire industries had a problem. The solution was simple: let the knowledge die. Stop printing it. Call it outdated. Write codes that make the old ways illegal. Within 2 or 3 generations, nobody remembers. Nobody asks. Nobody knows what they lost. But some people kept it, tucked away in farm journals and church archives and the kitchens of old men who still heat with wood. If you have ever looked at your utility bill and felt quiet rage, this is for you. Banking the cabin. Before the grid. Before the gas line. In the mountains of Pennsylvania and eastern Ohio, a kind of house was built for over 100 years that held heat. Not for a few hours, but for the better part of a day. 16 hours, sometimes more, in temperatures that would freeze a modern pipe in 3 hours. The pioneers called it banking the cabin. Every autumn, they packed loose organic material, dry leaves, pine needles, straw, 3 feet high against the entire foundation. It looked like neglect. It was engineering. That dead air barrier outperformed modern fiberglass insulation. Research from the University of Vermont confirmed a 2-foot berm of dry leaves reduces heat loss through the lower wall by nearly 40%. With a rake and a wheelbarrow, the Amish in Holmes County still do this every October. Their root cellars hold 38 degrees from November through March, without a single watt, without a single bill. Try it today, and a code enforcement officer will cite you for vegetative debris. The stated reason is fire risk. The real reason: an insulation industry worth over $11 billion has no interest in a solution that costs nothing and works better. The smoke shelf. Inside the cabin, pioneers kept fires efficient with something so simple it was removed from building codes almost without comment: the smoke shelf. A deliberate ledge cut into the chimney 4 feet above the firebox. It caught creosote before it built up into a hazard, and it redirected cold downdrafts that pull warm air out of a room even when no fire is burning. Modern chimney codes prohibit smoke shelves in new construction. The National Park Service's own records document that one original smoke shelf prevented chimney fires for over 170 years. The pioneers were not lucky. They were precise, heating the person, not the room. The pioneers did not heat the room. They heated the person. Take the way they slept. A river-tumbled granite stone heated in the fire for 40 minutes, wrapped in wool, slid under the foot of the bed. One stone the size of a bread loaf holds usable warmth for 9 hours. Critical detail: never shale, never limestone, never creek stones. Trapped moisture under heat becomes pressure, and pressure becomes explosion. The women of Lancaster County still use this method. The cost is zero. The stone lasts a lifetime. No electric blanket can match it for safety. Nothing to short circuit, nothing to catch flame. Pennsylvania utility filings show the average American pays over $400 a year just to heat bedrooms nobody occupies during the day. The pioneers paid nothing. The thermal mass wall. For those in existing homes, dense stone or brick on an interior south-facing wall absorbs radiant solar heat through the day and releases it slowly through the night. A modern application requires no permits. A freestanding stack of solid concrete pavers near a south-facing window absorbs solar gain for 6 hours and radiates warmth for 9 to 12 hours after dark. A 1981 National Renewable Energy Laboratory study found a 28% reduction in heating costs from just 400 pounds of thermal mass, roughly 120 standard pavers, costing between $140 and $200. 7 winters of monitoring, one retrofitted home reduced propane consumption by 31%. The winter window. A heavy, quilted curtain backed with wool hung to the floor, finished at the bottom with a strip of weighted leather against the sill. The leather strip was the entire secret. It stopped the convection current, the invisible column of cold air that slides down a window pane and spreads across the floor, dropping the effective temperature in every corner. University of Minnesota. Testing confirmed a properly sealed insulating curtain reduces heat loss through a single-pane window by up to 73%. Not a new window, not a replacement. A curtain with a weighted hem. The buttermilk wall wash. The most unexpected technique comes from an 1885 Lancaster County Mennonite journal. Fresh buttermilk mixed with hydrated lime. 3 parts, buttermilk to 1 part lime, brushed onto walls, siding, and foundation stone. The lactic acid reacts with calcium to produce calcium lactate, which crystallizes into microscopic pores and forms a mineral barrier resisting moisture, mold, and insect damage for 8 to 15 years per application. A gallon of buttermilk costs $3. A 50-pound bag of lime costs $12. One batch covers 400 square feet, roughly 3.5 cents per square foot. The cheapest commercial mold-resistant paint runs 48 cents per square foot. The 1798 Hans Herr House in Pennsylvania was washed this way for over a century. Its original interior plaster has never been replaced. What was taken? 40% heat reduction from dead leaves, 73% heat loss reduction from a curtain with a weighted hem, 14 months of safe meat preservation from rendered fat. A $3 solution to a problem that has been costing you for 30 years. These solutions were not made obsolete. They were made inconvenient for everyone except the people billing you. In the unheated barns of Lancaster County, in the root cellars of eastern Ohio, in kitchens where wood stoves have been burning since before your grandfather was born, this knowledge has been alive the entire time you were paying not to need it. The house you already own contains most of what you need to begin. A south-facing window, a few concrete pavers, a weighted curtain, a gallon of buttermilk, and a bag of lime, and one free Saturday morning. The pioneers did not survive because they were harder than us. They survived because they knew things we were taught to forget. Tonight, you have remembered some of them.